As Ramadan is approaching and we are really getting ready for it, we want to make sure that we are implementing some kind of habits that are going to ease our Ramadan much so, but also not neglecting our personal health, studies, and sleep. So, what are those 10 habits that are going to be really helping you to really achieve that easy, breezy, healthy Ramadan? So, if you're interested to find out the tips, then please keep watching this video till the end. So, the first habit that I've definitely implemented in the past that has really helped me before to actually achieve that healthy Ramadan is making sure that I have a personalized Ramadan journal where I actually write all the habits that I want to basically implement in Ramadan. What are my goals and what are the bad habits that I may want to actually eliminate before Ramadan ends, and I want to keep up with those habits in the future as well. So I have made many kinds of notes, as you can see, and this is literally like a whole timetable that I actually did, and this has been really helpful for me to actually basically progress and keep track of all my habits that I've actually implemented in Ramadan in the previous years, and keeping a journal has definitely helped me with that. And this brings me to the second tip. So the second tip is making sure that you're writing as many goals as possible that you actually want to achieve in Ramadan 2021 or any other years that you might be in, and for that you have to actually make sure that you're writing these goals 1 or 2 weeks before actually Ramadan begins. So first of all, you can start working on them from then on, and second of all, you know exactly how you're going to be approaching Ramadan as it's coming. So you want to make sure that you're writing goals as much as possible. So for example, in 2019, one of my goals, it was to read the Prophet stories or watch the Prophet stories online on YouTube. For example, I think one of the YouTube channels is called Ikra Cartoon. They provide you with amazing content in terms of learning the Prophet stories and stuff. So you want to write as many goals as possible or as little goals as possible depending on what schedule do you have. But I would not recommend no more than 3, especially if you're a student and who's undertaking your GCSE exams or A-level exams or university exams even, or even if you have a 9-to-5 job. So have 3 goals you actually want to achieve by the end of Ramadan that you wish to keep after Ramadan as well. Tip number 3 is making sure that you are planning out your schedule, how it's going to be during Ramadan, so that you can make time for your religion, for your studies, and your personal health and alone time as well. So that you're making sure that everything is balanced, and you want to make sure that everything around your life is going to be smooth and easy for you. So planning out a schedule can be really helpful for that. So if you want to check out my previous video on how to really timetable your schedule, maybe on how to really schedule out your Ramadan days and everything, so you can check out my videos that are right here or here, so that you can an idea on how to really structure that. And I have put together really good ways and tips on how to really structure your day so that you're not neglecting any of those 3 areas which are very important for your life. So yeah, check out that video and let's move on to tip number 4. So habit number 4 or tip number 4 is something that I've actually implemented since last year's Ramadan, and that is to basically make dua when you're actually breaking your fast. Literally when the Maghrib Azan is happening, before you drink your sip of water or your date or have your date or whatever, you want to make sure that you're actually making a specific dua that you actually want it to be accomplished, or you wish that Allah actually grants it to you. So that could be, for example, passing your driving test, getting a first in your degree, or it could be getting that 9 in your GCSE biology, especially when you know the biology is your worst subject or something like that. So you want to make sure that you're making some kind of dua just before you sip your water, and you want to make that dua from the bottom of your heart actually, and I promise that actually makes it also really feel good as well. And even if there is no I'm not sure if there is a specific hadith that relates to this, but this is something that I've heard from many lectures during my previous Ramadan when I was watching as many Islamic lectures as possible. So make sure that you're making dua just before you break your fast during Maghrib. Tip number 5 is making sure that you're mindful of what you eat and drink during Ramadan and when you're actually breaking your fast. So you want to make sure that if you're a student, for example, you're not actually eating many kinds of greasy or junky or oily foods, because that can make your concentration levels go really down and can make you feel really full and hungry very easily, and you want to avoid those kind of situations. But also if someone who has a 9-to-5 job, you want to make sure they're eating healthy and clean as much as possible, and fresh fruits and vegetables and all those kind of things. But definitely I will make a future video on how to stay healthy during Ramadan, which is coming up probably next week, so you want to stay tuned for that. But just in general, make sure that you're mindful when you're eating and whatever you're eating and drinking during Ramadan. Tip number 6 is making sure that you're establishing small, consistent but good habits on an every single daily basis, or good deeds that you're doing on a everyday basis. And I would not recommend, as I mentioned before, no more than 3 things that you want to do every single day. For example, that could be completing your 5 prayers and giving in charity, but also being kind, for example. So you want to make sure that these 3 habits, you're doing them every single day, so that even after Ramadan you can keep them up, even after Ramadan. So you want to make sure that whatever good habits you actually establish and whatever bad habits you eliminate during Ramadan, you want to keep them up even after Ramadan. So I would not recommend no more than 3 things that you actually want to accomplish by the end of Ramadan and what you actually wish to continue and keep up after Ramadan as well. So you're not getting overwhelmed with all the kind of things, and also you're not going to be feeling lazy after Ramadan to continue them. Tip number 7 is making sure that you're seeking knowledge for the sake of Allah and not just secular ones. So you want to make sure that you're giving yourself time every single day on a daily basis for at least half an hour, where you're actually indulging yourself in learning about Islam, the Islamic history, learning about the prophets, and watching in general some kind of Islamic lectures that remind you of Allah, and just focusing yourself in that moment and not concentrating on other things or thinking about GCSEs or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you're secluding yourself in that time for 30 minutes or even 1 hour, whatever, depending on what schedule you have, to actually learn about the prophets and Islam and the history, and learning good acts and good deeds and hadiths and whatever that might be. You're actually giving yourself time to actually read that, but also you can actually read Quran as well, also the translation of the Quran as well in that time. So there are so many different things that you can do, and just give yourself enough knowledge and walk out this Ramadan thinking that you have learned something new about Islam that you didn't know before. So in that way, it will make you feel that you had a productive Ramadan 2021. Tip number 8 is making sure that you are actually being consistent with your 5 daily prayers, which are your fard. Whereas even if you can't complete your Taraweeh prayers or Tahajjud, whatever that might be, you're making sure that regardless of, even if you can't do those 2, you are making sure that you're consistent in your 5 daily prayers, because 5 daily prayers is what the most important things are, and you can actually have to complete these 5 on a daily basis. And do not think that because of Taraweeh now you're going to be missing Fajr, for example, because you prayed Taraweeh so late at night, or Tahajjud so late at night, so I can't really do, and you're feeling really tired. So you want to make sure that your priorities are set when it comes to prayers. You want to make sure that your 5 daily prayers are accomplished every single day. Whereas even if you miss Taraweeh or Tahajjud sometimes in Ramadan, it is okay, because that's Sunnah, whereas the 5 prayers are Fard. So make sure that you're consistent in your 5 daily prayers. Tip number 9 is making sure that you're reducing your caffeine intake as much as possible, because caffeine can make you dehydrated and also make you feel really concentrated at first, and then make you slow down and get you tired very easily. And you want to avoid getting tired in Ramadan as much as possible. So I would recommend that if you're someone who's really caffeineaholic, or a green tea, or like a teaholic, whatever, I would highly recommend for you to actually drink maybe green tea 1 hour to half an hour to 1 hour after you've had your iftar maybe or something. So in that way you're relaxed and you're going to be feeling much better. And also it's a very healthy drink that has a low caffeine intake. And also you can have a decaffeinated coffee, but I would not really recommend that. I would highly recommend for you to have instead a green tea, or a cup of green tea that you're actually drinking whenever you're revising or you're doing your work related stuff after you have completed your Isha and Taraweeh prayer. So you want to make sure that you're implementing this habit, because this will definitely make you feel less drowsy or less grumpy as well in general. Tip number 10 is making sure that you're having virtual iftar dinners or spending quality time with your family, especially after iftar when everybody's get together and everybody's spending time with each other. And you can do this also not just sitting down, you can also help out your parents maybe do the dishes or cleaning out the place, whatever you have eaten or whatever that might be. In that way, you're spending time with your people that you actually love, care, and trust, because these people are your support group and your support system in your times of happiness and your sadness too. So you want to make sure that you're spending quality time with everyone. And if you have distant relatives or people that might be not living in your house, you want to have iftar with them, then you definitely can have a virtual iftar online. In that way, it can be really helpful, and you're spending time with everyone. And also you can have a virtual iftar dinners with your friends and family and whoever that might be. So in that way, you're basically spending time with everyone. And that will be the 10th tip. This brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you really enjoyed these 10 habits that you should be implementing before Ramadan starts, so that you can have a really good, healthy, easy breezy Ramadan, where you're not neglecting your sleep, you're not neglecting your social time, you're not neglecting your studies, and you're also not neglecting yourself. So you want to make sure that these 10 habits are implemented on a daily basis just before Ramadan, and also during Ramadan, and also after Ramadan if you can, so that you can have the best Ramadan as possible. Especially in the times of COVID-19 when everything is very uncertain and very unsafe. You want to make sure that whatever time there is left for you, you want to be spending it in a very good way. But other than that, if you have enjoyed this video, then please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I post on a weekly basis academia, productivity, and self-growth kind of videos as well. So if you're interested, then subscribe, and I'll see you in my next week's video.